Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MycoStack Micro Challenge information session. My name is Paul Rubery, and I am the Executive Director of Biodesign Challenge. Today, I will be walking you through the procedures for participation in our competition. The MycoStack Micro Challenge is co-presented by Fung and the Biodesign Challenge. To begin, I would like to share a few words about us. Biodesign Challenge is an international educational competition and program dedicated to advancing innovation at the intersection of biotechnology and design. As part of our mission, we invite students to envision, create, and critique applications of biotechnology to build a future where humans function in harmony with the planet. To support this vision, Biodesign Challenge empowers high school and college students from diverse backgrounds to become multidisciplinary thinkers who design with biology for humans, industry, and the living environment. Our co-presenting partner, Fung, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to building cultural awareness of fungi and to advancing fungal technologies through open science and the arts. Fung centralizes existing information and generates new open source data, models, and methods. It also brings together fungal innovation communities to foster collaboration and build and validate shared infrastructure. Fung's art program creates the stories, spaces, and experiences that invite people to the fungal future. Fungi are among the most versatile and underutilized organisms on Earth. Their ecological roles are foundational, their material properties extraordinary, and their potential for innovation vast. Fung's mission is to realize this potential by advancing rigorous scientific research, fostering creative exploration, and cultivating networks that connect labs, artists, and communities. Several months ago, our organizations met to discuss the future of mycelium education. In that conversation, we came to the conclusion that, with regard to the current state of mycelium education, there exists a significant and consequential gap holding back the field. Mycelium-based bioproducts hold significant promise as a foundation for sustainable material economies and as an expressive medium for design practice. Despite this potential, however, learners working with mycomaterials frequently encounter a shortage of engaging, accessible, and technically substantive educational resources beyond introductory level activities. As a result, students are often compelled to repeat early stage experimentation without the benefit of a structured scaffolding toward a more sophisticated craft and research outcomes. Thankfully, BDC and OpenFung recognized almost immediately that educators, citizen scientists, and researchers around the world have been producing valuable instructional resources and practical tutorials in this space for some time. The present program seeks to connect, consolidate, and curate these contributions into a centralized, openly accessible database that supports learners at multiple stages of expertise, from K through 12 students and undergraduate learners to independent makers and community lab participants. Over our time together, I will walk you through participation in the MycoStack Micro Challenge program by sharing deliverables, outcomes, and more. But first, I'd like to begin by sharing some high-level information about the MycoStack Micro Challenge. The MycoStack Micro Challenge program cycle runs from August 1st, just a few days ago, to August 31st, 2026. Participation is free and open to anyone working with fungi or mycelium technologies. In other words, you do not need to be affiliated with an academic institution to participate, although you are welcome to submit protocols that were developed in such settings. The MycoStack Micro Challenge solicits protocols at three stages of difficulty: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. These categories are undoubtedly somewhat subjective, but we ask you to reflect on the intended audience for the protocol and what sort of prior background they may need to effectively replicate your submission. At the end of the competition, protocols will be evaluated by a panel of judges taken from the worlds of mycology, biomaterials, and education. Protocols will be judged on completeness, clarity, and the degree to which they push a learner forward on their educational journey with fungal biotechnologies and fungal biology. Winners will be announced and prizes distributed by the end of September. By December, we will begin to make the material submitted during the challenge openly available to the community. Deliverables include an easily accessible PDF and an interactive online repository, which will be further developed as submissions arrive. As this is an info session, I want to dedicate some time to discussing how to participate in the MycoStack Micro Challenge. In essence, there are two documents or portals that you will need to focus on, our Google form and the protocol template. I will begin with an overview of the template, which is where you should begin your submission process and then proceed to the Google form. The official protocol template you see here is made available on both the OpenFung and Biodesign Challenge websites. In order to participate in the program, we will ask you to translate your protocol into this specific format. At the top of the protocol, you will be asked to provide the following information: protocol title, authors' names, protocol description, difficulty rating, fungal species, time to completion, and necessary equipment. We consider this high-level information that will help set expectations for future users of the open access protocol library. A quick note about the protocol description. Key terms are listed both on the Google form and a newly linked document on the template. Please review them so that you can help shape your 100-word brief description. The next section of the protocol template relates to the necessary equipment. As you will see, we have provided an expandable Excel sheet within the document. In naming the equipment needed to replicate the protocol, please use general terms and descriptions instead of specific brand names. If you have a link to source providers, we also ask that you add them in the cell at the far right of each row. Next, you will find a place for step-by-step instructions. Each box represents a single step in the protocol, and we ask that you copy and paste the form boxes to reflect however many steps are involved in the successful replication of your protocol. Guidance on what constitutes a clearly written protocol step is provided already in the document. After this section, you'll see another spreadsheet designated for recipes. This is indicated by the blue coloring. Here, we ask you to add specific formulations for growth media, etc. As some protocols might involve different recipes at specific steps, we invite you to copy and customize the spreadsheet to suit your needs. The spreadsheet may also be placed at any place in the document, for instance, the beginning, depending on the anticipated needs of the user. Once you have transferred your protocol information to the template, we will ask you to submit the document using our Google form. The Google form, like the template, is accessible on both the OpenFung and Biodesign Challenge websites. You will see that it captures a lot of the same information as the template. This is by design. As part of the program deliverables, we will make the protocols freely accessible, and the information captured on the Google forms will help organize the data. To begin the template process, hit Next at the bottom left of the screen. The first section of the Google form will ask for identifying information. This includes names, email addresses, institutional affiliations, countries of residence, and social media. Please note that only some of this information is required to participate in the MycoStack Micro Challenge. Institutional affiliation, for instance, is not a required field. The next section will ask for very broad, high-level information about your submission. You will be required to give your protocol title, designate a skill level, identify the protocol type, and select anticipated audiences. A few important notes here. First, you will see that there are 4 submission types: educational exercise, protocol, maker activity, and other. You will need to choose one, so if the 3 listed categories don't perfectly fit with your submission, just select other and then share some detail in the space provided. In our earlier information session, we drew a distinction between an educational exercise and a maker activity that I think is worth mentioning here. An educational exercise will seek to convey something essential about fungi or fungal biomaterials, whereas a project and/or maker activity places a greater emphasis on the final outcome. See the slideshow's project title, Mycelium Bath Toys, as an example. Unlike submission types, you may select multiple groups as your intended audience for the protocol. We have listed here K through 12 students, undergraduate students, graduate students, independent makers, and much more. In many instances, there will be overlaps between these communities, and it's perfectly acceptable to say that your protocol fits one, two, or more. The next section asks for more specific information about your individual submission. You will be asked to copy and paste your 100-word description from the protocol template to answer the first question, um, and identify key competencies in the second. So again, the short description will be the same description that you use at the header of your protocol template. Here are some examples of key competencies. Based on feedback from the first session, we have added a link to the full list of uh, in the protocol template. In the next section, you will be asked to identify the fungal species used, growth media types, and estimated costs to replicate. In your estimation of costs, we ask that it's in US dollars and that you do not include the costs associated with large equipment. When identifying the fungal strains, we ask that you are as specific as possible about how you came to that identification, whether it was through the supplier, by eye, or through DNA sequencing. In the penultimate section, you will be prompted to upload your protocol. You can upload the protocol as either a Google Doc, a PDF, or a Word file. There is a second optional ability to upload additional media like video or 3D print files if that is applicable to your submission. And finally, you will be brought to the open access agreement. As stated at the outset of this info session, Biodesign Challenge and OpenFung aim to make these protocols freely accessible to the global community of mycelium enthusiasts, educators, professionals, and students. By participating in the competition, you retain the right to use, republish, and share your protocol as you see fit. This agreement extends the right of restricted use to OpenFung and Biodesign Challenge. You will be appropriately credited for all your contributions. Once you confirm that you have read and agreed to the terms and conditions, please hit submit. Once you have done so, you will have participated in the MycoStack Micro Challenge. I want to take a few moments to answer some questions that we received earlier in the day. The first question related to the kinds of protocols we're looking for in the competition. Are we looking for protocols suited for finely tuned and well outfitted academic labs, or are we open to receiving submissions that relate to a wider variety of learning spaces? To that, I'd say that we welcome submissions that span the spectrum of spaces for fungal biotechnology research and design. This includes high-tech labs, DIY bio outfits, community labs, and far less equipped classrooms. The scale of the lab will be partly suggested in the equipment that you note as being required in the protocol template. Next, we were asked how many prizes will be awarded for each category. It's a really great question. There will be 3 prizes awarded for each category, a first, second, and third for the best beginner, intermediate, and advanced protocol submissions. And finally, can you submit multiple protocols? Yes, absolutely. We seek to build out a robust database that can help learners progress from early stage experimentation to more advanced work. We understand that in many cases, you will have several related protocols that can help us meet this goal. We encourage you to submit as many protocols as you'd like. If you have any more questions about participation in the MycoStack Micro Challenge or the individual activities of the program's presenting partners, OpenFung and Biodesign Challenge, please feel free to reach out to us either on LinkedIn, social media, or through our institutional web pages. In the next week, we'll be announcing webinars related to the MycoStack Micro Challenge, and those are free for anyone to participate in online on Zoom. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing what protocols you submit. Take care.